It was a typical late evening, and Claire sat alone in her dimly lit apartment, scrolling mindlessly through her phone. The day had been long and exhausting, and she just wanted to relax before bed. The soft hum of the refrigerator and the distant sounds of the city outside were the only noises breaking the silence. Her phone buzzed, another notification. She glanced at it and noticed it was from an unknown number. "How are you doing tonight?" Claire furrowed her brow, annoyed by the message. She didn't recognize the number, but she figured it was just spam. Ignoring it, she set the phone down and grabbed a blanket, wrapping herself up while continuing to watch a show. Minutes later, her phone buzzed again. "I'm outside your building." She froze, staring at the message. Who was this? Her heart began to race. Rationalizing it, she thought maybe it was a prank. But still, her hands shook as she typed a reply. "Who is this?" No answer. The silence seemed to close in around her. Her mind wandered to worst-case scenarios, but she told herself to stay calm. After a few more moments, she grabbed the remote and turned up the volume on the TV, trying to shake the eerie feeling crawling up her spine. Suddenly, her phone buzzed again, startling her. "I'm at your door." A cold shiver ran down her back. She turned towards her front door, staring at it. There was no knock, no sound of footsteps, but the message alone was enough to make her feel as though someone was just inches away from her. Slowly, she crept off the couch and tiptoed to the door, peeking through the peephole. No one was there. She turned around, her heart pounding against her ribs, only to hear her phone buzz again. The screen illuminated the dark room as she reluctantly picked it up. "Come closer." Her breath caught in her throat. Was someone watching her? Were they inside the apartment? Panicking now, Claire grabbed her keys and headed for the door. She didn't care who was outside at this point. She needed to leave. Her hand hovered over the doorknob when her phone buzzed again. "I'm already inside." She whipped around, expecting to see someone standing there in the shadows of her apartment. But the room was empty. Claire's hands trembled as she looked down at her phone, her mind racing. How could anyone know where she was? There had been no signs of a break-in, no sound of footsteps. The silence was deafening. Then her phone buzzed one last time. "You shouldn't have left the camera on." Claire's stomach dropped. She turned, slowly realizing her mistake. Her phone's front camera had been on the entire time, facing her as she sat on the couch, as she stood by the door. Every message, every eerie threat had come from someone watching her through her own phone. In her panic, she hadn't noticed the faint reflection on the screen, the shadow of a figure moving behind her. She wasn't alone. Before she could scream, the lights flickered and her phone died. The last notification vanished in the darkness.